Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Bookmakers Reviews coverage of Serie A. I'm your host, Martin Green. Delighted to be joined by Matt Lawerence. It's Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, Matt. Is the turkey in the oven?
It is in the oven. It's all ready to go, and probably we'll have a couple drinks after this.
Oh, sounds fantastic. Well, thank you for taking the time to join us and give us your expert take on Serie A on this big day. We are going to kick things straight off then with the Friday game, Friday night in Italy, but it'll be kind of lunchtime in the US. Cagliari versus Salernitana. Not exactly Italian heavyweights, but two very interesting teams because they both concede a ton of goals. I think Cagliari haven't kept a single clean sheet all season, and Salernitana have only kept one. So I'm expecting a pretty entertaining game here. What do you think, Matt?
I think so. I know that Salernitana, they haven't scored in their last three matches, which is a little bit of a concern. But yeah, I mean, Cagliari are just they're shipping goals left and right. So you would like to think that both teams could probably find the back of the net here. I mean, it's such a bad fixture for me. With where they stand in the table, 19 and 20, just not something I really want to get involved in. So it was a pretty clear and easy pass for me. But I would probably lean with the home side here.
Yeah, it's a funny choice for your Friday night fixture, isn't it? That they pulled this one out for everyone to watch. I guess it's because the big teams were in Champions League action and they need a few days to recover. But yeah, I take the point that Salernitana have not exactly been firing on all cylinders in front of goal, but I can't really get away from Cagliari's dreadful defence. I mean, 28 goals conceded in 13 games so far, not a single clean sheet. Big Friday night game. A lot of people are going to be watching it. I'm going both teams to score. Okay. We are going to go on to Sampdoria versus Verona. Hellas Verona. This should be an entertaining one. Giovanni Simeone, son of the Atletico Madrid manager Diego and former Argentina international, he scored 9 goals in his last 8 games. He's on fire for Verona. They're coming up against the talented Sampdoria team that have had a few good players come back from injury recently, and they're looking all right, but they're languishing just above the relegation zone, Matt. Do you think Sampdoria can get anything from this one, or are Verona going to outgun them?
I think so. I think that Sampdoria can get something here. Verona haven't been the greatest really on the road here. And when you're looking at their most recent away matches, they've only picked up 1 win in 12. So I find it difficult to back them for a road win. But when you look at, some of the head-to-heads in this fixture over the last few seasons, the last 3 have seen both teams to score in over 2.5 goals come in. With Simeone on fire, I mean, I would maybe be looking towards him in the anytime goal scoring market. But yeah, that's where I would be going here, Martin. I'd probably be looking towards an over 2.5, maybe throw in both teams to score here and stay away from who wins. But I would like to think that the home side probably gets the job done here with Verona's road woes. So that's where I would be going.
Yeah, I can't really pick out a winner, so I have done exactly that. I've stuck with the goals market. I've just gone both teams to score for the show at odds of minus 150. But I would definitely throw in over 2.5 goals as well, because Verona have just been involved in a lot of high-scoring games this season. 3.77 goals on average in Verona games. That's the highest in the league. That's ahead of, Inter, Lazio, Atalanta, which is pretty interesting, really. They do struggle at the back, but going forwards, they've been so much fun. Simeone's been in great form. They're kind of like trying to seize Atalanta's mantle as the great entertainers of Serie A. Don't think they've quite got there yet, but they're giving it a good go. And yeah, I think we're going to see another really entertaining game in that one. Okay, next up we've got Empoli. We're having a middling season, languishing in mid-table. Few good results, few not so good results. Coming up against the Fiorentina team that just beat AC Milan 4-3, Matt. How impressed were you with Fiorentina's performance last weekend?
Extremely impressed. They're scoring goals for fun right now. They've been able to put up, 3 or 4 goals in about half of their last 6 matches. So I mean, they have these breakout games, and that was a really nice one. I mean, especially when you look at AC Milan keeping a clean sheet on the road in Madrid in the midweek to keep their hopes alive in the Champions League. They're going to get to come up against a heavily rotated Liverpool on the last day, and if they can get a victory, that would be pretty huge for AC Milan to be able to go through. I think I'd like to see it. I'd love to see Zlatan in the round of 16. So, but back to Fiorentina. I mean, they're just Vlahovic is he's probably already world class, Martin. I mean, he's right there, and I mean, when you're looking at Empoli, they're shipping goals right now. 13 goals they've conceded in their last 6 matches. So somewhere, over 2 goals on average in their last 6. So they're shipping goals, and they're coming up against a side that has been able to put together usually a goal a game, and then sometimes more, like in the last, with 4 against Milan. So I'm on the road side here. I just think that they can score more goals. It's a short trip to Empoli. It's not a long travel spot or anything, and I believe that they should be able to continue their fine form. And at plus 100, I just see a team that has a better offense that can score more goals.
Nice, yeah. As I didn't actually put this one in my official picks, but I am definitely leaning towards Fiorentina. They look back to their attacking best at the weekend. I'm still a bit concerned by some of the defensive issues they have, but a couple of players coming back from suspension should help their cause. And I can see them getting a win in this one too. I wonder if Serbia could be a dark horse for next year's World Cup. They obviously qualified top of their group ahead of Portugal. Vlahovic up front with, Milenkovic, Savic, Dusan, Tadic. It's all going on, isn't it? So, good team. But I digress. We must move on to one of the 2 biggest games anyway this weekend. We've got Napoli-Lazio to cover later, but we are coming up with Juventus versus Atalanta. This should be a great game. Juventus kind of started to find their feet a little bit in recent weeks. Back-to-back wins. Moved up to 8th in the table. It's not great, but there's green shoots of recovery. But then a 4-0, humbling 4-0 defeat to Chelsea in midweek. That defence still looks very weak. Both teams to score has now paid off in Atalanta's last 10 games. 9 of those games have gone over 2.5 goals. So I'm pretty much blindly betting both teams to score in over 2.5 goals every time Atalanta play at the moment. I know Juventus have kept a couple of clean sheets in recent weeks, but they were ripped apart by Chelsea. And I think Ilicic, Zapata and Muriel have enough quality to expose this defence. So I'm on that again. Can you convince me otherwise, Matt, or do you think that's an astute play?
I think that's the only way to go. I mean, I think that throwing together both teams to score is more than fine in a parlay. Both of these teams just really weren't able to find their footing in the midweek. Atalanta had a huge opportunity to take, and they really blew it on the road in Switzerland. So, and Juventus just completely outclassed at the bridge. So it's a tough one to pick who wins this match, but I think that both teams to score at minus 200 should probably find its way in a parlay with something else on this card, or something anywhere around Europe. I think it might be one of the better parlay pieces out of all of the top leagues. And just keep in mind, if you're really looking to pick a side, maybe you're looking towards Atalanta in the first half and like a draw no bet or plus a quarter, because they on the road haven't suffered any defeats at halftime in their last 19 Serie A matches. So they rarely get beat in this league in general. And in the first half, they always seem to really bring it and can score a goal. So that's just something to keep in mind. But yeah, I think that both teams to score over 2.5, Martin. I think you've got it right, and I think that both teams to score on its own is just a great parlay piece.
Well, you say that, Matt. I'll tell you my parlay, my Serie A parlay. So I've got Sampdoria, Verona, both teams to score. Juventus, Atalanta, both teams to score. Inter to beat Venezia, and Roma to beat Torino.
I like it. I like it.
Got like 9-2 on that, like plus 450. So yeah, I think that looks pretty good. So Roma's probably the one that that's the longest odds out of all of those selections. But at home against, we're going to get onto that anyway. But that's my parlay. Okay, we got Venezia versus Inter Milan next. And Inter Milan have been very impressive in recent weeks. They've cut the gap on league leaders Napoli and AC Milan to just 4 points. Beat Napoli 3-2 last weekend. Terrific performance. Very well done to come from behind there and win the game. Eased to a very comfortable victory over Shakhtar Donetsk in midweek. I guess fatigue could be an issue because Venezia have had the week off and they've got a reasonably good home record, but I still think they've got enough strength in their squad to go to Venice and get the win. What do you think about this game, Matt?
I think so too. I mean, they're just in really great form. I left it off my card just because they had the midweek match against Shakhtar. So I left it here. But I think that finding a way to get Inter on sides isn't a bad idea. I mean, they're exploding right now. But Venezia, they've had a couple decent upsets, in this league. I mean, they beat Roma, they beat Fiorentina. So like they've been able to spring a couple surprises in this, but and a robust attack like Inter Milan, what they pose, it's going to be very difficult to be able to keep them, quiet here. So yeah, I would be looking towards the away side.
Yeah, and Napoli and AC Milan both beat Venezia 2-0. Granted, those were home games, but I guess if Inter want to keep pace with teams like Napoli and AC Milan, they really need to be beating teams like Venezia on the road. So I've gone for Inter with a minus 1.25 Asian handicap in this. I think they can win it by 2 clear goals. If they win it by just 1 goal, I get half my stake back. We shall see. But very impressed with Inter in recent weeks. They've been going goal crazy, outscored even Atalanta in this league, which takes some doing. So I think that could be an entertaining game. Can't say I'm particularly looking forward to the next one, which pits Udinese against struggling Genoa. Just quick reminder of the table. Yeah, Genoa in the relegation zone, 6 draws, 6 defeats from 13 games. Things are looking a bit better for Udinese, but they're only 5 points clear of the drop zone, so quite an important game for both of them. But not the most entertaining of teams. What do you make of this one, Matt? Do you think we could see goals or over or under? What do you think?
I'd be looking towards the over. I mean, this league has just been, lighting it up in terms of goals over the last calendar year or so. So yeah, I'd be looking towards the overs. I mean, when you're looking at Udinese, I mean, both teams to score has come in, and it looks like 4 of the last 6 Serie A matches. So, I mean, yeah, the goals have been coming. I'd probably be looking towards the home side. Like you mentioned, Genoa are in a rough patch right now. And, they're conceding a lot of goals on the road, especially. So I think I would just be looking towards the home side here. I think that Udinese have enough here, and at 1.8, it's not a bad price on a home win. It's a fairly long travel spot, and I think that the home side will be ready to go. That's where I would be leaning towards here.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Matt, leaning towards the home team. It's if Udinese win this game, they put considerable distance between them and the relegation zone. So I think they'll be fired up for it. And yeah, they really should be beating Genoa at home. So that's good. Okay, next up, AC Milan versus Sassuolo. AC Milan underwhelming performance last weekend against Fiorentina. I really thought they'd win that, given the suspensions that Fiorentina had in defence, but they just couldn't deal with Vlahovic, like you said. They just couldn't deal with the quality that Fiorentina brought going forwards. But then the complete antithesis to that in midweek, they battled to a very, very impressive 1-0 win against Atletico Madrid at the Wanda Metropolitano Stadium. Which AC Milan do you think shows up? Is it going to be the one that beats Atletico 1-0 or the gung-ho team that loses 4-3 to Fiorentina?
Well, I think that they, spent a lot of energy in that Atletico Madrid match. So there's going to be some tired legs. Maybe there's a little bit of rest and rotation. But one thing we know is Sassuolo, they've been scoring goals for fun, really. I mean, that's what this team does. They are able to score goals, whether it's home, away. It really doesn't matter. And that's kind of where I'm looking here. I mean, the last 3 head-to-heads between the two, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals has come in. This line is priced at 3 goals. I mean, just look at Sassuolo's matches. Both teams to score and over 2.5 has cashed in all of their last 6 road matches. I mean, it's cashed in all of their last 6 in general. I mean, it's just 4 goals, 5, 3, 3, 4. I mean, it just keeps coming in. So I'm going to just continue to ride that trend that Sassuolo likes to play in these up-tempo, back-and-forth basketball matches. And I think that AC Milan will oblige as well. Yeah, I think that this one is this is my second play of the week, and I really like it. Yeah, both teams were over 2.5.
Nice. The artist formerly known as Alex Classic. I like that one. Yeah, take the point about AC Milan being a bit tired, especially the defenders. And Sassuolo are just another very entertaining team. It's a very entertaining league, Serie A. We are blessed. We are blessed to have this wonderful league that we can watch week in, week out with great entertainers like Sassuolo and Verona and Atalanta. And Bologna, to be fair, are a very entertaining team as well. Spezia coming up against Bologna in their next game. Spezia have 2 wins, 2 draws, 3 defeats from their home games so far this season. Bologna tend to save their best performances for the home games as well. They don't really play that well on the road. For that reason, I just left this one alone because I think Bologna are the better team, but they don't travel well. So this was a very clear pass from me. You have anything on this one?
I passed it, but I mean, I just have to say that I'd be looking towards goals. 15 goals in the last 3 meetings between the two. And Bologna, like you mentioned, they're conceding a lot of goals on the road. 1.85 goals on the road in their last, really throughout the whole season. So, I mean, they've only picked up 3 wins in their last 21 away. So yeah, I think that goals is a fantastic way to look here. I mean, 15 in the last 3, both teams finding the back of the net in each of them. I would be looking towards some type of Alex Classic. Both teams score over 2.5, something like that. Maybe a straight over 3 goals. It just, yeah, when these two teams have met ever since Spezia came up from the second division, yeah, it's just been a goal fest. So why not again?
Okay. Are you tempted at all to do your every game to have over 0.5 goals parlay?
I was looking at that. I mean, I got fairly close the last time. I think maybe, what was it? Maybe 7 or 8 out of the 10 came in. I mean, it was very close. But yeah, I wasn't able to put that one together. I'll do a little bit more digging. I still have some time, Martin.
Yeah, okay, like it. Next up, we have Roma versus Torino. Now, I'm going for Roma in this game, as I mentioned earlier in the show. I'll tell you why. Roma are very strong at home. 4 wins out of 6 at home, and Torino very poor on the road. 4 defeats out of 6 games. They've only scored 3 times on their travels. I know they had injury problems for a lot of those games, but I just think at the Stadio Olimpico, Roma are very strong. Jose Mourinho is an astute coach. I think he will get the better of his opposite number in this one. I've just gone for a straight Roma win. I'd probably go for Roma in under 4.5 goals if you wanted to get any more value. But that's my general take on it, really. Quite simple, just very strong at home. And I think they are actually a superior team than Torino. So I think it looks like a really attractive bet. What do you think,
Yeah,
Matt?
I definitely think chalking in the under 4.5 goals here makes sense. I mean, look at Torino on the road. They really have struggled, losing 1-0 to Spezia, 1-0 to Milan, 1-0 to Napoli. So they do play close matches, and Roma, they need to get this right because the last three home matches that they've played, including in the Europa Conference League, they haven't been able to pick up a win. So I think that they do just squeeze it. But yeah, I'd be maybe looking towards like an exacta here, like a 1-0 Roma. I mean, look at Torino's last three road matches, all 1-0. I some kind of tells me that looks pretty good, like a 1-0 or 2-0 correct score line for Roma. They really have to get this right. Jose Mourinho has got to tinker here, and he needs to do it correctly because I mean they need to get back and to winning and really protecting their home advantage.
Yeah, only one. I was just looking. Only one Torino game has gone over 4.5 goals so far this season. Torino games are actually the lowest scoring games in Serie A so far. So I think throwing in an under 4.5 goals on it just to get that extra bit of value. I've talked myself into it now, so I'm going to do that for better odds. But I do just quite like a straight Roma win. They do occasionally. They've been involved in a few kind of 3-2s and stuff, haven't they, this season, Roma? But Jose Mourinho teams tend to keep things pretty tight at the back. So yeah, that's what I'll do. But yeah, 1-0, maybe 2-0 if you want to do a correct score game on this. Okay, next up we have Napoli versus Lazio. Tough times for Napoli. I thought they were really good against Inter last weekend. Took an early lead, but then they just kept getting caught on the break and missed a couple of chances. And then another strange defeat away at Spartak Moscow in midweek. So perhaps that air of invincibility that was surrounding Napoli has kind of faded, but they're still top of the table, Matt. And they're coming up against the Lazio team that don't travel very well at all. So do you think they can get back to winning ways in this game?
I do, even without Osimhen. I do. I would be looking towards the home side here. I mean, it looks like no Ciro Immobile for Lazio, which is a huge miss. Felipe Anderson's questionable to make this trip, but I'm concerned for Napoli. When you're looking at the next 3 months without Osimhen, because he's right there in that like close to being world class, close to being able to make like a big move. I mean, not to say that Napoli isn't a big club already, but I know that there are bigger fish in the pond that are really looking at him, and that really hurts. That that head injury. It's going to take a long time. We saw that in the Premier League with Raul Jimenez. I mean, it just takes a long time. So it's definitely concerning. But yeah, Napoli are a juggernaut at home, and with Lazio having a couple players, miss, and they're always conceding on the road. I definitely think this is a straight home win here.
Isn't it his cheekbone as opposed because Raul Jimenez fractured his skull, didn't he?
Oh, okay, yeah, it is, but it's like that orbital bone too. It's like, so it's a weird one. It's 3 months.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I was just wondering why he's going to be out for 3 months. I obviously no doctor, but like
Yep.
I just assumed that when you do there, you could just have one of those masks that they put like man in the iron mask and keep playing through. But
that orbital, when you fracture that, it's so close to the eye. It's just like it's a very scary one. And yeah, I'm no doctor, but I know that whenever someone fractures that, it's not good, and it's normally months away on the sideline.
Oh no, that is such a shame for them when this was their time, this was their season when they just came flying out of the blocks, building up real momentum. It was looking great, and then they're going to need Dries Mertens to step up. He can actually play in that central role. He's a very good player. If you get Mertens, if you get Insigne back from injury, and Zielinski, Politano back from COVID. They've still got a very good front four, but yeah, they are really going to miss that pace, that running in behind the last defender, the dynamism that you get from Osimhen. I don't think they can quite replace him, but if they keep things tight at the back still, and
exactly, I think that they can hang around. Maybe they won't be. Maybe when Osimhen comes back, they won't be in first place, but maybe they'll just be a couple points back and still very much in the hunt. That's kind of what I feel. I mean, they could still easily be leading too. I mean, they are dynamite at home. Keep taking advantage of being at home in those matches, and then just find a way on the road. I mean, they too have still world class up front. So
yeah, because I mean, he was gonna be missing from. He was going to miss all of January anyway, wasn't he, with the Africa Cup of Nations? So yeah. I guess you're only losing him. I mean, it's a crucial time, but you're losing him for about a month, and then hopefully he'll be back around the sort of time that he was going to come back from the AFCON. So I guess they must have had a plan in place, to deal with his absence when he was away there anyway. So hopefully they can keep going. Do you think this hands the initiative to any other team in the title race? I mean, I can see that Inter are now very narrow favourites ahead of Napoli to win it after their recent form. Do you think this is a pivotal moment?
I mean, definitely. It's very close up at the top. I mean, don't forget about AC Milan as well. I mean, with Ibra, he's in fine form in front of net. It's going to be a very good race. I mean, when you're looking at this, it's very close up at the top. Those three teams, both teams from Milan and Napoli, and I mean, don't ever count out Atalanta with the way that they can score goals. Juventus starting to find their footing in this league again. So yeah, I think that this is going to be a great title race.
I would love it if Atalanta could win the title. They're always finish third because they concede too many goals, but they're so entertaining, and just would love that. But who knows? You could even see a late push from Juventus if this if all the other teams start to slip up a bit. Should be a really interesting title race, which is great, which is exactly what we want to see. Okay, we've been through all the games, so it's time to ask the wizard in the control room to please bring up the picks. And we'll tell everyone what we're going for. Matt's playing it cautious. I've probably gone a bit, I've maybe gone a bit over the top, but I've got 6 to share with you. I hope a few of them hit. So I've just got straight both teams to score in the Friday game between Cagliari and Salernitana, based on the fact that neither of them keep clean sheets. Then I've got both teams to score again in the Sampdoria versus Verona game, based on Verona scoring loads of goals. Would throw in over 2.5 goals there as well to get more value. Gone for that. Both teams to score in over 2.5 goals in the Juventus versus Atalanta game. Then Inter minus 1.25 Asian handicap against Venezia or Venice, minus 107. Straight wins for Roma and Napoli without Osimhen. Matt, what are your 2 plays?
So I've gone with Fiorentina, plus 110 on the road against Empoli, who have been conceding a lot of goals recently, 13 in their last 6, and Fiorentina have a dynamite offense. So I just think that they can outscore Empoli, and I'm going with a bet that has just continued to pay off for Sassuolo backers in their last 6 and the last 3 head-to-heads between the two. It's both teams to score and over 2.5, and Milan Sassuolo at minus 111. I really like it.
Love it. Thanks, Matt. Thank you to the wizard.
Thanks, wizard. Thanks, Gandalf.
Thanks, Gandalf. You're a wizard. Okay. Brilliant. Thank you very much, Matt. Thank you for taking the time out of your Thanksgiving to share your plays with us. We're going to be back in 30 minutes time. We've got the Bundesliga just to run through, and then you can start drinking. It's not eggnog, is it? What do you drink on Thanksgiving?
Oh, I'll probably just have maybe some whiskey on the rocks or something like that, a couple beers, something like that.
Very nice. That is definitely something to be thankful for. All right, thanks, guys. We will see you shortly, hopefully, for the Bundesliga, and hope you get lots of winners this weekend. Cheers, Matt.
Cheers, Martin.